6 top tips from personal experience on how to recover after an illness, to vocally recover specifically. And so the first thing, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. The first thing is to hum instead of sing. So if you are warming up, for instance, over the last 2 weeks, of course, I have had 4. I have had 4 very important occasions when I needed to sing. Like, you just got to get out there and do it. And that will happen for you probably too, where it's the Christmas season and your big holiday concert is coming up, and you got to do what you got to do. So the first thing is, instead of singing, when you're warming up, just hum. And humming does several things. First, it does warm your vocal cords up. But secondly, it also resonates up here in what you would call like your mask area of your face, loosening all of that crud that's up there. And so it will help to sort of alleviate that pressure that you're feeling in the front of your sinus passage, and then also warm up your vocal cords. And then eventually you'll need to sing as part of your gig, but the first thing you need to start with is humming. What you never ever should do is whisper. While that may be tempting because you don't maybe have a strong enough speaking voice, just don't talk. Like, I'm just being really firm on this. If you cannot talk using your voice, don't talk, because whispering does more harm than good, and it's really damaging. So if at all possible, avoid whispering. Okay, that was a freebie. That was not even part of my 6, but don't whisper. Hot tea, I'm sure this is no surprise to anyone. I don't actually recommend tea with lemon, because first of all, I don't like lemon. But secondly, I find it to be pretty abrasive, and that's not something you would ever want to do to your vocal cords. So I personally would not say to use lemon. And beyond that, I don't find that any one particular tea is any better than another. I certainly have some that are favorites of mine, but I don't think you can go wrong, honestly. Just warm tea is good. Also, this is something you may not hear anywhere else: potato chips. Specifically, the Lay's regular potato chips. Not baked, not flavored in any way, just the plain like yellow bag Lay's are like the perfect mix of salty and greasy. So again, if you're in a situation where you absolutely have to sing, like no way around it, and your voice is still recovering, then a bag of Lay's potato chips, like the small bag, obviously, don't go crazy, will cut that crud that's running down the back of your throat. It'll cut that grease will cut that, and the salt, and then it will also sort of smooth things out. So, Lay's potato chips, people. And you know where I got that from? Just FYI, just random. Back in junior high, I did a book report on Amy Grant. Some of you may know her. She was very popular, and still is very popular, pop singer as well as a Christian singer. And she has some really great Christmas albums. If you're not familiar with them, check them out. They're great. But that was something that she had in like one of the little biographies that I read, or a book that someone had written about her. It was a tip that she shared, and I've used it multiple times very successfully. So, Lay's potato chips. Gargling. Now, this is something you can get really fancy with, or you can just be very plain with. some people get like warm salt water and gargle with that. Sure, do that. But in a pinch, like you're backstage about to get on and go sing, you're not going to have all that crap with you. But you probably will have a bottle of water. Room temperature, don't go crazy and get some cold water because that'll freeze your vocal cords and you don't want that. Room temperature water, just take a mouthful and gargle it. Again, it's going to loosen and break up all that crud that's right there. So if you feel like you have something just sitting right here in your throat, gargle with room temperature water. Cold water is not going to help you. Room temperature water. Sleep with a humidifier and sleep elevated. That's another freebie. I forgot to put that in there. We have one of those wedge pillows, I think we actually got it for some leg injury or something where somebody needed to have their leg elevated, but it works just as well for elevating your upper body. So sleep elevated. If you need to use a few pillows instead, that's totally fine. Some people even go to the extreme and like prop up the front part of their bed or the head of their bed on like a brick or something. That seems a little excessive to me, but you got to do what you got to do. So humidifier, and then I put the Vicks vapor in it, and that kind of helps to clear up some of your sinuses as well. I am not one that has gotten on the essential oil train. I'm sure probably many of you have, and you can share in the comments if you've gotten some really great results with essential oils. I will trust you on that because that's just not something that I've used yet, although I'm sure it is helpful. So humidifier, I usually elevate it so that it's near my head and it's sort of wafting over my face during the night. And then the last thing that is something I do just pretty much on a daily basis, regardless of whether or not I'm sick, is to use a Neti Pot. And that is a pretty common recommendation from ear, nose, and throat doctors. It's something you can do morning and evening. I usually find it helpful to do in the shower when you're kind of already got the steam and everything loosened up. That's really helpful, and definitely before bed because then that helps you to not drain as much onto your vocal cords while you're sleeping. So the really tough part about being sick and congested is during the night because when it drains, if you're not elevating your upper body, then it'll drain out of your head, but then it'll just sit here. And you can just imagine what that would do to your vocal cords, right? It's just a thick crud on top of your instrument, which you would never want to do. So if you're elevated, then it has a better chance of kind of keeping on going, right? So those are just some of the things that I have found to be helpful. Clearly, sometimes you just, like now, you can do everything and you're still going to be a little bit congested. But I will say, I successfully sang for 2 church services, 1 coffee shop gig, and 1 funeral, even while sounding like this. So while your speaking voice may not sound like yourself, your singing voice is salvageable. I definitely believe that, and if you have any other tips or things that have been helpful for you, I would love for you to share in the comments because we can all benefit from as many resources as possible. Winter is coming, and while summer colds really suck, winter colds are like terrible, even worse. So definitely share, and I really hope these help. Definitely also, I'm sorry, I just said definitely also. That's a pet peeve of mine. I don't like that phrase. Please comment and let me know what has been helpful and also what you would add to the conversation around this. All right. Thank you so much for